Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel. Now in today's video we're going to be looking at our Flyhal X04 here, in particular the suspension. Now if you are familiar with these trucks you'll know that this is basically a copy of an XLF, but most XLFs now come with a brushed motor instead of the 550, and they have oil shocks on them, even though they use the same shock absorbers, but I think they just converted to oil. They've just got a couple of seals in them basically. But if you get the Flyhal version, they're dry, they're just like a friction damper. Well, they're not even that, to be honest. Anyway, they're pretty terrible, I'm not going to lie, and if you use them and get them wet, this happens. They basically seize up. Now I've actually put some WD-40 on the stanchions before I took it out, and they've still seized solid virtually. But never mind, because today we're going to be fitting these set of shock absorbers. Now this this may be of interest to XLF owners, because I have heard that although the oil shocks on the XLFs, they're still pretty terrible, and they do these shock absorbers as an optional extra, so an XLF owner can buy these. The difference is, if you buy the ones that are specific to the XLF, they're £8 a pair on Banggood, but if you buy the shocks that are specific to the Flyhal, they're only £4 a pair, and as far as I can tell they're exactly the same shocks. But obviously the XLF buggy itself is twice the price of the Flyhal one, so that must mean that you have to sell the shocks for twice as much. But top tip for XLF owners, your Flyhal X03 shock absorbers, aftermarket shock absorbers, will fit. They're the same. Now if you've never fitted shock absorbers before, they're generally super easy. I mean, you've literally got a pin at the top and a pin at the bottom. If you can hold a screwdriver, you can pretty much change a pair of shocks. And when you've got shocks that well, I say shocks in the loosest possible sense of the word. If you've got suspension units like these, fitting a set of shocks is a really cheap and easy way to instantly improve the handling of your RC. Yeah. So I'm going to stop waffling on. I'm going to check the fluid levels in these shocks, bang them on, and then we're going to take this thing out to see what difference having a set of proper shocks actually makes to it. The rear pair on, and instantly we've got a far more compliant suspension setup, much better, and plenty of damping, not much in the way of rebound. These are the old ones that I took off. See, solid, and I've actually put some lube on those as well to try and free them off, but they've just corroded solid inside. I get a bit of water in them and that's it. Shouldn't happen with these, because obviously the damper rods are immersed in oil inside, but they're much better, a lot more compliant. Now the new shocks actually come with these little brass balls that you have to press into the eyelet on the bottom of the shock. You can use a pair of pliers to do this. I literally just pushed them in and then use the surface of the table, and then they just pop straight in. Right, that's the fronts on, and immediately these feel loads better than the originals. We've actually got some damping now. So anyway, I've set the preload on all four shocks. I've put a bit more on the back than on the front, because there's an awful lot of weight on the back. But anyway, let's go see what they're like. the state of that. I was only supposed to be testing the shocks as well. I did actually think I'd killed it at one point because it stopped dead and I had no steer or anything. I thought I'd fried something, but it turned out to just be the batteries basically. So good old Flyhal. But I hope you like the new colour scheme anyway. Right then, back inside. What did we think of the addition of our new oil shocks to this thing? Well, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion, wasn't it? I mean, it is a massive improvement. Not so much at slower speeds, but high speeds, it just tends to float over the bigger bumps. So if you've got one of these trucks and you want to improve the handling, the easiest and cheapest way you can do it is to get yourself a set of these shocks. I'll leave a link in the description below to where I've gone from. Even if you've got the XLF version, I've heard that the oil shocks that they put on aren't particularly brilliant. These seem to be a cheap, decent set, to be honest. I mean, I've left them for about 48 hours and none of them are leaking, so I've really got no complaints whatsoever. Like I say, I'll leave a link in the description below to where you can get a set from, and for roughly £8 a set, I don't think you go far wrong whatsoever. And while we've got the Flyhal X04 in front of us, I was really impressed with how waterproof this thing is. It really did get drowned at several points. I mean, when I lifted up the body to have a look inside, the tray where the ESC fits was just full of water. So I think it says water resistant on the box, but I'm pretty sure it's waterproof. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video and you found it of some use and interest, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you're feeling that way inclined, hit that subscribe button for more similar future content. There are some brushless kits coming off Banggood, so we're going to do a few brushless conversions to one or two of the trucks that they've supplied. And if I don't see you before, I'm going to wish you guys a very happy new year, and hope to see you in 2022.